the neighbors were thinking it. That's just totally crazy. A doctor came with a heavy sedative. Next day found me drinking both gin and sedative. Anybody in here ever do alcohols and sedatives and narcotics and heroin and Quaaludes and Valium and Xanax? That's how crazy. I go to a doctor one time, and I was starting to feel the effects of detoxing. I was starting to feel these serious effects of detoxing, and what would happen was, it would be like almost DTs, where you're just shattered and you're nervous and you're shaking and everything's loud and you're really touchy and all this. And I went to the doctor one time and I go, Doc, I'm really nervous. I've got anxiety. I'm really, feeling, really nerves, tight chest, but it's really hard for me to deal. And he puts his stethoscope up on my heart, and it's going boop, 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 because I'm detoxing. And he goes, I think you have a protracted mitral valve, which is causing you to have acute anxiety. I'm like, sounds good, Doc. Got anything for that? And he goes, well, we have this drug. It's called Xanax. I go, what kind of milligrams is some bitches coming, Doc? I'm going to need the big ones. And sure enough, he gave me the big ones, and it says gin and sedative. It says in here. After a couple of weeks, I was pouring them out in my hand. I wasn't even counting them. I was weighing them, and I was chasing them with a quart of vodka. All over the bottle. Do not drink alcohol if you take these. And I'm thinking like that must be for the lightweights, And I got to tell you, you do a handful of Xanax and drink a quart of vodka every night on a work night, you become limber. You know what I mean? You are noodle. And I broke all my furniture. One day I staggered into work. I'd allowed myself to become overprescribed. I guess I weighed too many, and I walked serpentine into the boss's shop. Like this. God damn it! You're messed up out of your head. Go home. And he shamed me in front of my crew. And I was able to separate from the Xanax. Like that, I stopped the Xanax, but I could never stop the booze. So I had about an 8-month Xanax run where, I was pretty limber, Dave. I relate to so much of this. When I read this first, I read it like it was a novel. How fast can I turn the page? My first impression was what a loser this guy was. And this is 1938 and the stock market and this. I just didn't enjoy it. It didn't speak to me. Upon multiple readings and acting as if this actually is a textbook and really paying attention to the material, it started to speak to me. And I am like Bill Wilson. I think he probably went down the scale a little further than me. God bless him, but I am there with him. He detoxed probably more times than I did, but for the frightful day came when I drank once more. The curve of my declining moral and bodily health fell off like a ski jump. After I returned to the hospital. This was the finish, the curtain, it seemed to me. He really thought, he was going to die. He really, really felt completely hopeless at this point in time. And after he was detoxed, he went back to his home to die. And he would drink the bathtub gin or whatever kind of booze he could get from Lois's $2 a week salary. And he would get this booze and he would just sit there and he would just drink for oblivion. And he was certain that he was going to die.